Hi everyone, we're going to go over the annotation button in AverVision 4. So it's the second button here. It's the annotation. This is where you can draw on the screen. It's a lot of fun. First we're going to start with this one. It's kind of like a pink looking thing. This is called the Freehand Tool. It's like a pen, so I'm going to write freehand. So this is the Freehand Tool. I can draw, I can draw as however I want and make a bunch of squiggles. And so that's the freehand tool. The next one here is this kind of bluish one. This is a highlighter tool. If I want to highlight something, so I'm going to make a highlighter. So if I want to highlight something, like notice the scissors here. And that's a highlight emo, so it's a little more, it's more see-through, while the freehand tool is more of a hard marking. And then this is the straight line tool. This is for, making straight lines. So each click is a line. So you just kind of click and drag where you want it to go. And that's a straight line. And so if I want to, I can make straight lines here about that. Then this is the text. You can change your font and the size of the text you want. So this is just going to be text tool. And so that's how you can add text manually to the screen without having to write, on an overhead or anything like that. Next is this shape, the shape tool. You can make, they have a couple of shapes here. They have a circle, hollow circle, and then a square and open square, ovals and triangles. I kind of like the triangles. I think they're kind of cool. And you can adjust that on how big you want them to be. And then this one is the eraser. Let's say you make a mistake, like I don't like this squiggle anymore. You just take the eraser, click on the eraser, and then you click once, and it erases the whole line. So if I don't want this triangle, I just click once, and it goes away. So you can't, manually, you don't have to scrub the whole thing. You just click once, and off you go. And if you don't like any of it, you can hit the clean sweep button. This is kind of like the Promethean board where you can take off all the markings and you can just clean sweep and it's gone. And then this is the undo button because I want you to remember these. So I'm going to put them back. So if I go back to the freehand tool, this one, and you're going to say, well, it's all red. I want to change the color. You hit this, you hit the freehand tool, and then you can change color. This little palette thing will come up. And then you can change color, so I like blue, and I'm going to make a box around that. And then let's say you don't like any of these default colors, you can hit this one again, and this comes up, and you can choose kind of your own color. Pink, everyone loves kind of pink. And you can make a freehand tool or box and color pink. So that's how you change the color. You can do that with the highlighter and the line and the text. Just make sure you pick what tool you want to use before you pick the color. So I'm going to go highlighter and I'm going to pick green and I'm going to highlight the text here. And so just make sure you choose the right tool before you try to choose the color. And then, so I'm going to go line tool here and show you this. This is like thickness. So if you want to, these lines aren't thick enough, I want a thicker line. I went to this button right here, and I chose a thick line. You can also choose an arrow, and the arrow is where you always stop the click. And then you might have noticed that you can do an arrow on both sides. So if I just do this, there's an arrow on both sides. And then if I don't want it to be a skinny, I make it skinnier arrow. And then you can do the same for, that'll affect also the freehand tool and the highlighter. So so that's a skinny line. This is a thick line. So that's how you can change that. You can also do a dotted line. So the longer you go, it's just going to do a big dotted line. And that'll automatically make you a dotted line. So that's kind of fun. And then the rest of it is, this is an undo button. and a redo button. So if you ever make a mark and then you're like, I don't really want that, and you undo, and then you say, I want it back, and then you redo. And so that is the annotation tool. This tool on the far left is a selection tool. So let's say you want to highlight a few things. So I'm going to highlight all this, all those boxes. And if I hit, then I can do like a, well. So if you want to select a few things, that's a selection tool. And so yeah, so you have the freehand tool, and then you have the highlighter tool, and then you have the straight line tool. Oh. So yeah, that's the annotation tool. I hope it's a lot of fun. You can play around. So yeah, next we'll do all three of these because these are a little smaller buttons in the next video.